Well, I want to bring in our senior international correspondent, Fred Pleitgen. Fred, now we're hearing that they are actually storming the city itself. How significant a move is this militarily?
It's a very significant move, and it shows that the whole battle for Falluja is moving into a completely new phase. What you saw before, where we were talking about those villages that were taking to the west and to the north of Falluja, is what's called a shaping operation, where they try and shape the battlefield in a way to make it conducive for their forces to be able to move into Falluja, and that seems to be what they're doing right now. The Iraqi military, in the form of its spokesman, has also confirmed that this is what they call the third phase of that operation, which means going into the city itself. Now, that's something that is obviously very, very dangerous, because when you do that, you can't use things like long-range artillery. Air power is quite limited. A lot of it is urban combat, and that's something that has proved to be deadly in Falluja in the past. It is, of course, an ISIS stronghold. So we'll wait and see how quick all this goes. But they are now saying that they are in a full-on operation to try and take the city back.
There have been so many reports of a potential bloodbath about to happen in Falluja as well. Reports that maybe 100 handful of people have come out of the city over the course of the last week or two, but thousands still there.
And that's the other thing that plays into that, is that there are still tens of thousands of civilians, the UN says, still trapped in that city. And of course, that is also something that's very significant when you're talking about that urban combat. You're fighting in a place where there are a lot of civilians, and you have to try and take care to make sure those civilians don't get hurt, don't get killed. And it's a very, very difficult thing to do. So the UN is very concerned about what could happen to those civilians, very concerned about trying to make sure that those civilians are able to leave. It's something that's, of course, very difficult when you have a full-on battle going on, is to try and get these people out. So it is a massive concern. It's been a concern also in battles like this in the past. And Falluja is a pretty big city. And so therefore, it's something that is a big danger, and something that the UN is very, very worried about.
And it's an important city as well, isn't it, in relation to the capital, Baghdad, not far from there, and of course the quest to take on Mosul eventually as well.
That as well, but especially also when you look at its proximity to the capital of Baghdad. It's about 50 kilometers away from Baghdad, and there's several things that play into that. First of all, obviously you don't want ISIS that close to your capital to begin with. But also, what the Iraqis are saying is that ISIS has been sending suicide bombers to Baghdad to conduct attacks there as well. They believe that that's one of the main sources, and that's also something that they want to shut down.